Tinfoil hat. Oh, what the fuck are you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Good morning, Swarm, and welcome to Tinfoil Hat. You know I am. You know I'm here too. I'm here too.
Rock!
Join me as always, Xavier Guerrero, and on the ones and twos, Jay Nice, Juicy Johnny Woodard. Guys, we got a great show for you tonight. We got Esoteric Eddie back in the saddle, dropping the hammer to gods. Here's his information is so dangerous that the internet kept at the beginning kept going in and out. Johnny did his best job to clean it up to the best of the abilities, but some of the words will be lost. You're going to have to piece it together. We did the best we can. Later on in the show, it starts cooking with gas, and everybody's happy. So it's a great, great show. We love it very much, and we hope you enjoy. We're not going to keep you long. Just go to SamTripoli.com. Check out all the dates here. This is Batavia on the 25th, 26th, and 27th in Illinois. Augustina Zoida will be joining me. Then we have Bakersfield at the end of March. Huntington Beach at the end of March with my good friend Brian Callen, and then the live taping of Quiet is now March 3rd. Once I get tickets, we're going to make it happen. So there we go. Hope you guys are doing well, and we love you very much. Anything else, guys?
Live show.
Okay, so due to the last show that we did, we've decided that Thursdays are a little dangerous because Daddy's on the road the whole time, most of the time. So we're now starting. When does this come out?
Well, it'll be out next week. So this is the first one or the second one coming out. I don't know.
This is the second one coming out.
Okay, so from now on, whenever you're listening to this, the following Tuesday we'll have a live show.
Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern is now the final destination of TFH Live. We play your phone calls.
Might even be on Twitter this week live.
It might be on Twitter too.
Give it a shot.
Why don't we also put it on Rumble too? Let it all dance.
It's different. It doesn't have built-in support for Rumble. That's some more
offensive, Johnny. But check that out. All right, enjoy the show.
Drink from the fountain.
All right, let's get into it. He is a podcast favorite. He is constantly in discussion for the Mount Crushmore. He's back again. I don't even know how many episodes he's done, but we always love him when he's here because he always crushes it. Please welcome the one and only Esoteric Eddie. How are ya?
What up? Glad to be here. Tinfoil motherfucking hat.
I love it, buddy. I also love that your presentation gets better every time you come on the show. I feel like the first time you came on, you were like doing it on your phone or some weird shit. And now, like, look at you. You got a whole setup. You got hats. You look like you're in are you in some kind of like trailer?
I am. I'm in a vintage trailer living on a ranch now.
That's awesome.
Still in Florida?
That's what we need to do.
No, I'm in California again. I came back to SoCal.
Oh, are you near us?
Gotta get in the studio, bro.
Yeah, I'm in San Diego.
Oh, dude, we should all have a real discussion about San Diego.
I'm in, man.
Get me out of here. And now you got Esoteric Eddie there?
That's it.
Dude, I finally watched that Leave the World Behind. I have really serious concerns now about living in the city.
100%.
How do we get...
but that's why we got to live just outside of San Diego.
It even freaked my
We got to live in a fucking trailer on a ranch.
You got to live definitely on the east side so you can just be the first person on the
that's
freeway.
all I've ever wanted to do. I want to be the last house on the 101. just jump on.
Because my girl was
go.
like, "Oh, we live near, the 10, so we'd be good to get out of here."
No,
I'm
there'd
like,
be gridlock.
it's a parking lot.
Yeah,
you'd be
it'd
trapped.
be
if you got on.
gridlock. That's why I got to learn how to drive dirt bikes. But then I got to get kids out of there. How am I going to get my kids out of there?
I think the move is to have some vehicles like that, maybe a motorcycle or something, on the outside the city that you can walk to if worse comes to worse.
Yeah.
Then get on those.
I got to get one of those things with the side thing so I could throw my kids in there, strap them down.
Sidecar?
Are you Batman? You Batman over
Yeah,
here?
yeah. So, Esoteric Eddie, we're glad you're back in SoCal. We need more of you. I would love to live in San Diego. They've said it's the most expensive city in the country, and it needs to be.
Oh, that sucks.
It needs to be, dude, because if it's not, the population would be 6 billion. Everyone would live there.
Yeah,
It's too nice.
there are a lot of great places that aren't expensive. though.
Dude, we need to start looking around there. We need to all go in on place there and then have our bug out bunker place.
Moving, it seems to be kind of defeating the point of moving if we stay in California. You know what I mean?
I don't know
The
about
state
that.
is
The weather, it's like
Gavin Newsom is the governor.
I was just talking about this. Well, I want to lead a movement to have Nevada annex San Diego. Where it just becomes
San Diego secedes and enjoys Nevada.
Yeah, enjoys Nevada. Get out of Cali, dog. So for those who aren't familiar with your past appearances, Esoteric Eddie, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and where our listeners can find you?
Yeah, man. So I am an independent author, researcher, content creator. And the past 2 years specifically, I've been creating art and work under the brand name Esoteric Eddie and Esoteric Eddie TV. I've been just basically researching and diving into all of this occult, esoteric, and conspiratorial subjects for the past 15 years. I've had a lot of strange experiences, a lot of awesome chances to come across knowledge. And yeah, we doing good?
Yeah, we lost you for 2 seconds. Is it us or him?
I have no idea. I mean, the internet was good when I checked it right before the show, but
Okay.
who knows? XQ was having some problems too. So if it bugs out again, we may have to do a little restart in here. We'll refresh the router.
All right. Go on. Keep going.
Yeah, man. So just I've been diving into all this for many years, and today we're going to be covering the origins of modern day globalism. And yeah,
the internet seems okay.
Okay, so we're gonna keep going. Occasionally, you break up, but we're just gonna fight the good fight. We're not afraid of you, lizard people. Okay, so I love it. I'm big on it. I see the first talking point. Did you say your website where they can find you?
Oh yeah, that was the other part. You can find me on my website at esotericeddie.com. And sometimes it glitches. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, you're
goddamn New World Order, but yeah, but YouTube at Esoteric Eddie TV.
All right, esotericeddie.tv.com or is esotericeddie.com?
The website is esotericeddie.com.
Okay, so click the links below. All that is there as always with Esoteric Eddie. So I don't know. Let's get into the New World Order. I've been doing a lot of talking to people, and most of those people are myself. I've been talking to myself a lot because I'm hanging out with kids all the time, and my mind just drifts. And so I've been thinking a lot about the Vatican and the role of the Vatican and how I believe that basically both sides of crime, whether it's committing the crime or organized crime and law enforcement dealing with is all the Vatican. And so, it's like when you take a look at like how the Nazis escaped Germany, walked over here, took the OSS, turned into the CIA, you go, okay. And you start studying that. Where did all the Nazis run to? They ran to the Vatican, Red Line, down to Argentina and stuff like that. So I started going, well, if we know that they created, and what was the first intelligence agency? The Jesuits, right? So we understand that the first intelligence agency is the Jesuit. Then you start looking at all the organized crime organizations of the West, Europe, Irish, Italians, Latin Americans. What do they all have in common? They're all Catholic.
Yep.
So they literally have created both sides of this war, of this thing. They're both supplying us the drugs and then acting like they're fighting it. So I see the first thing you want to bring up is the Committee of 300. And the reason this resonates with me, and you might not know this, Esoteric Eddie, but I am a giant Los Angeles Clipper fan. I love the Clippers. They're my favorite team. If I had the power rank teams to go Clippers and then Dodgers and Las Vegas Raiders. Clippers with the bull. You may not know this, but the owner of the Clippers is Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer is, in fact, listed as one of the Committee of the 300. The owner of the Clippers is one of the 300 people that run planet Earth. Isn't that great? That's how I know we're going to win a championship. We have one of the top lizards owning our team, and we're going to eventually win a championship.
And you're okay with rooting for a team owned by a lizard person?
Well, I rooted for them before.
He loves it. Yeah.
I know he'll buy every player he can, so I'm
Have
okay.
you seen
with
that new stadium? I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah, and the seating's gonna be crazy.
Sick,
but
yeah.
okay, so where do you want to start? Everyone's like, "Let him talk. Shut up." Okay, I'm gonna shut up. Esoteric Eddie, where do you want to begin?
No worries, man. Sometimes I forget I'm here. I'm just like watching the show. I'm like, hell yeah, dude, this is real 3D right here. But I actually got a PowerPoint that I can share.
Okay,
Let's
let me set you up.
Go, bro.
Hold on just a second, Eddie. Let me set you up for that.
Yeah, and so while Johnny's getting set up, this
You're
is
good.
going to be a PowerPoint and a presentation from a documentary that I released last year. So this is a documentary I made last year. And again, if you like the information, you can go watch the documentary for free and get more in-depth information. But it's an important subject because a lot of us in this community, we talk about the they, they are ruling the world. Who are they? I'm going to give you some real ass names today of who they were and are today. So let me get this going here. Yeah, man. So the reason I made this documentary and put this together is because, well, like you, Sam, and a lot of people in this community, I heard about the Committee of 300 like years ago, like, over a decade ago. And it was a subject that I was always meaning to dive deeper into. And what actually caused me to make this documentary and this presentation last year was this experience that I had at a used bookstore. I came across a book titled Conspirators Hierarchy by Dr. John Coleman. And it didn't have a price on it. And so I went up to the cashier and I was like, yo, how much is this book? And she's all clicking away at the computer. And she goes, oh, wow, this is $200. I'm going to have to reshelf this. This book was something of importance. And so later that day, I went home and I found a PDF version of Dr. John Coleman's book. And that book is what inspired this presentation. And
What's the name of the book one more time?
Conspirators Hierarchy by Dr. John Coleman. Yeah, there are some rare editions out there, I guess, that are worth a couple $100. So getting into it, first, Dr. John Coleman is a pretty interesting character himself. There's not a lot on him out there. There's only one video out there of this presentation, which I have a screen grab of here in the presentation. And it's a pretty awesome video. I should upload it to my channel, and I think I will this week. So look out for that. But in this video, in this presentation, he kind of generalizes his book and talks about the world we live in and how it's all ruled and controlled by higher-ups, so on and so forth. So there's not a lot of information on him out there, but in his book, he mentions or claims that he was an intelligence officer for what I'm assuming was MI6, because he did most of his work in Britain. He's from Britain, and he moved to the United States in the 70s. And he claims that in his book that he researched and had the privilege to see a lot of this stuff behind the scenes firsthand. He was already in his late 50s. So he had seen a lot, just as a person and been around the world. And he was also a congressional lawyer. So he knew a lot about law and understood government very well. And he was an author of several books, most of which were all conspiratorial. And so, yeah, again, he wrote this one in specific, towards his middle age. And so that book is where I got a lot of the information first, but it led me down, paths towards other knowledge, other research, but it was kind of the start of it. Now, Dr. John Coleman was actually on the Alex Jones show back in like 2010. But at that time, he was even older and was pretty much already into his seniority and aging. And since then, nobody has really heard from him or about him. Actually, he got brought up in conversation on the Alex Jones show just a couple years ago. And in that episode, Alex Jones mentions that even he didn't know whether he was alive or not. At that point, Dr. John Coleman was probably already on his deathbed or out there just, old. So anyways, Dr. John Coleman wrote that book, and he kind of brought that whole subject to the forefront to the community. Reason he named the book The Committee of 300, and where that number comes from is actually from a German politician by the name of Walter Rathenau. And so Walter Rathenau was quoted in a German newspaper after World War I, stating, as I have on the screen here, 300 men, all of whom know one another, guide the economic destinies of the continent and seek their successors from their own milieu. And Walter Rathenau was a liberal politician who was helping Germany after World War I transition into an international country. But prior to the 1900s, we were still easing out of the nationalistic agricultural way of life. But during the 20th century, a lot of the nations started to transition to international systems, international governments. And Walter Rathenau could see this happening, and he was taking advantage of that, and he was trying to help Germany get back on its feet, and he was reaching out to other countries and building connections with them. But he knew something. And being a politician and being behind the scenes, whatever he knew, whatever he saw, caused him to conclude at that time that there were about 300 men who ruled the world behind the scenes. And so that number it comes from this quote. That's where Dr. John Coleman got that number. There's Walter Rathenau again.
Yeah, he looks like some Ming the Merciless.
Yeah, he looks like Lenin.
Lenin. He looks like Lex Luthor. Like that guy's up.
He looks like
good.
If you played Command and Conquer in the 90s, he looks like the
that guy's
villain.
He's giving some fiery speeches where he does this with his fist.
For sure.
For sure.
Yeah, man. He was actually a poet too. There's a lot of strange poems of his out there. But yeah, that's him. Yeah, he was the foreign minister of Germany during World War I, and again, a liberal politician, and later assassinated.
Damn, dude. They got him.
Yeah. Fucking got him, dude. So Dr. John Coleman, in his book, Conspirator's Hierarchy, lists off the agendas of the Committee of 300 from his perspective, again, being a British intelligence officer. That list is, as I read, to create a one world church and monetary system, to cause the destruction of national identity, and to control the mind, to legalize drugs and pornography.
Yep.
Population control.
Yep. I'm just checking all of them.
Yeah. Mass unemployment.
Yep.
Collapse of world economies. Infiltration and destruction of education.
Well, congratulations to the Committee of 300 on achieving all your goals. You did it. It's unbelievable, bro. It's like they nailed all of it, dude. All of it. All of it. Hey, guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our boy, James McMahon, and Copy My Crypto. Let me tell you about Copy My Crypto. Hey, guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our boy, James McMahon, and Copy My Crypto. Listen, we all know crypto's on the way back. It's killing it. Okay. And guys, there's so many people making ridiculous money from crypto. But did you know it's easy for you to do the same? The Copy My Crypto membership site shows you the coins that YouTuber James McMahon personally holds and allows you to copy them. It's like having a big brother who knows what he's doing. You don't need to know a thing about crypto or how to invest as you simply do what he does. It's that simple, okay? So let me tell you about James. He runs Crypto with James YouTube channel, which despite heavy censorship has over 26,000 subscribers. Since March 2020, he told his viewers to buy 26 crypto coins. Had you put $100 into each, it went on to be worth $123,000. Okay. Of the 26 coins, his top pick, a coin called Phantom, went up 692 times from when he said. That one call alone retired a number of people, including guys in their 20s and 30s. Remember, this is public knowledge. You can go to YouTube and verify this yourself. So if you'd like to join the 2,800 members who copy James, then stop what you're doing right now and head to copymycrypto.com/TFH. That's copymycrypto.com/TFH. That's TFH, okay? You'll not only find proof of everything I've said, but my listeners get full access for just $1. It's that simple. So once again, that's copymycrypto.com/TFH. The recession is here, guys. You can suffer like everyone else or choose to thrive. James is the real deal. Go visit his site now. It's like so crazy. It's like a great example of like, if you see something everywhere all at once, right? It's probably a psyop, right? And it's so crazy. It's so like the legalization of drugs and pornography is just, I mean, it's destroying everything, dude. I mean, like,
You think pornography shouldn't be legal?
but no, I think it should be legal. But it shouldn't be as like mainstream as it is. Like, so have you seen that as mainstream as it is? Have you seen that redheaded porn star that everyone's like, she's made 70 mil this year, and she's like, she's attractive. She's not like mind blowing where you go, what? Nothing like that.
Hard worker.
No, I think what she is, I think that people like her, her subscriptions are artificially inflated so that people can go, look at this normal looking chick making 70 mil a year doing pornography. And girls are like, I'm cuter than she is.
I got you.
I could make that kind. And then they realize they're only making $500. But now it's all out there.
And you can't go back.
You can't. Once you flick the bean on camera and it's being sold on the internet, it's on the internet. It's like you can't do anything about it. It's blood in the water.
Good luck teaching kindergarten.
Yeah, good luck doing anything. I mean, like I guess when you join OnlyFans, you have to go through some. I don't know if this is true or not, but this one girl said that she was talking to them and they were like, find some OnlyFans friends because you're gonna lose a lot of friends.
Damn.
And you're like, why do you gotta do that? And it's just because it's like, dude, porn stars back in the day were outlaws. They had to do it because they couldn't do anything else. But 100%. So the last thing I'm gonna say about that, Tucker Carlson shows this woman in Iowa, and or it's what's the next one? New Hampshire, I think. And they think that Nikki Haley could actually jack that state. It's small enough they could do it. And they're talking about how Nikki Haley's they did a poll of Nikki Haley's supporters. And like most of them said, oh, I wouldn't vote for Trump if it was Trump and Biden because they're all Democrats that are trying to inflate Nikki Haley, right? And they interview this one girl. She's a blonde, and like you just see like her eyes like slowly moving to the side of her head, like she's cattle. Like I'm dead serious. Like it's like they're right here on her fucking face. And then I'll shut up and let Esoteric Eddie go. But she's like, my biggest issues right now are global warming and trans issues. You're like, you are just lost.
She's voting in the Republican primary. That's hilarious.
Yeah. She's like, I'm not okay with Biden right now, but I'm just waiting to see what happens. And you're like, tell me you are the most pampered person in the world when your concerns are global warming, which you can never, ever, ever, ever actually give me a number or show me anything, or trans people, which in like New Hampshire, how many are there? 10? You're concerned about that? It's great. Okay, I see it. I'll shut up.
No, you're good. You're good. All right, let me get back to the screen. But yeah, man, the freaking grocery list of the Illuminati is definitely checked off. They got everything in the bag. So yeah, so Dr. John Coleman, right? He wrote this book. He kind of set it all in motion, and we start to see it in history. Well, going back, looking at history, we start to see that this was the case and is the case. And a lot of the modern day globalism starts with
Club of Rome.
Yep. And I'm sure we've all heard that name and watched documentaries and stuff like that on it. The Club of Rome was one of the first globalist organizations, corporatocratic global organizations, mixed with all sorts of industrialists, academicians, all sorts of, New World Order-esque players. But the Club of Rome was founded in the late 60s, early 70s by two men by the name of Aurelio Pecci and Alexander King, who are two very interesting guys who would later influence a lot of the modern globalists. Now, Alexander King, he was recruited during World War II by the British government to be the deputy scientific advisor. He had a scientific background and later turned psychological advisor and academician. After the war, he became chief scientific advisor to the Department of Scientific and Industrial Research. And King played a huge role in socialization after the World Wars and played a huge role in basically integrating new systems of educational indoctrination. And in this article known as the Executive Intelligence Review Journal, he is quoted as saying, and I paraphrase, and I'm summarizing here, "We invented the whole question of curriculum reform. You have to look at education in terms of the needs of the future economy and the kinds of jobs that are going to be required. Our policy was roughly that we should be at least 5 years ahead of the thinking of the nation states. Second, however, we should never appear to be more than 2 years ahead. Otherwise, we would be killed."
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's Alexander King played a huge role during World War II and after to integrate new systems of indoctrination. And Aurelio Pecci, what? Okay, here we go. Aurelio Pecci was super interesting as well. He worked closely with the Rockefeller Foundation, specifically with a company known as Adela, an organization known as Adela. And through that organization, he was employed to go overseas in South America to create internationalists, help create businesses that would be tied to Europe. So that was his primary job. And he was also president of a company known as Olivetti. And Olivetti was a technological consultation company. Probably all this just random shit that was all just front companies, that was most likely laundering money. But he was also close friends with Gianni Agnelli, who is the founder of the Fiat Motor Company. Of course, the funny little Italian cars. And he's known as like the Ford of Italy. At one point, one of the richest guys in Italy. And again, he was a close friend of Aurelio Pecci. And Aurelio Pecci was also a liberal socialist during the World War, specifically World War II. And when we hear liberals today, specifically, on the coastal cities, New York, California, we have a whole picture, we have a specific connotation of what it means to be a liberal. But back then, the socio-geopolitical, liberal was basically somebody who was eradicating the nationalistic agricultural way of life and basically integrating it into an international globalistic way of life where everything becomes centralized. That's basically what a liberal was back then, and that's still what a liberal is today. It's just under a different guise. All these different liberal tactics that we see here in America all funnel back to those original liberal ideals, which front themselves as like artistic expression or social expression, all these basically breaking down barriers. They front themselves as breaking down traditional barriers so that we could be more expressive and this and that. But really the agenda is to break the traditional mindset that the world stood on, that made the world what it was, so that we can break that down and then insert new programs, new indoctrinations that benefit the globalists at the top. And you can only do that by breaking what used to be norm and inserting new norms.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, man. So yeah, Pecci, huge player in the early internationalist movement, was also a post-war corporatocratic consultant, again, traveling around on the dollar of the Rockefeller Foundation and setting up business interests around the Americas that would funnel back to Europe.
You know what? So this I know I gotta shut up, but this reminds me of the game called, I think it's called Wolf. I saw somebody sent me a video of it where it was created by this Russian psychologist, and it was basically where it's also known as mobster or mafia, where everyone sits around, right, and everyone's given like, okay, you're a citizen, you're a citizen, you're a citizen. Two people are mafia or the Wolfman, right? Somebody gets killed. Everyone discusses who they think is the Wolfman, right? And then they kill that person. Well, they find out that person's not the Wolfman, right? And then they go around again. The Wolfman kills somebody. Then they have to decide who's the Wolfman. They get it wrong again. So it's either till everybody's killed or they decide who the two Wolfmen are. This reminds me of that. They always say the people in the shadows will always have a one up because they're working without anybody's knowledge. The things that these people are doing right here, and this is why people don't understand it, is like these weaponized psychopaths. They just all worship darkness, and they're just all working together to demoralize us. It's all a giant demoralization campaign that's been going on for decades, if not centuries. Go on, Esoteric Eddie. Sorry, I occasionally have to yell.
It's all good. Yeah, so these two men created the Club of Rome, and that the globalists love and use for a lot of their early philosophy. For example, he wrote a book called The Human Quality back in the late 70s. And again, this was written for his colleagues, the globalists. This wasn't written for us people. And so these are like canon for the early globalists. And in this book, The Human Quality, he says, and I quote here, "The purpose of the great projects which call for worldwide cooperation is twofold. On one hand, they must be used to convince different human groups that it is their direct and immediate interest to assign absolute priority to the systematic development of human quality and capacity." Again, basically fronting everything as if it's for the betterment of humankind, when really it's just for the globalist agenda.
Yep.
That's one thing. But even crazier than that, in the same book, he says here, and I'm going to quote this one, it's a bit longer, but it's very important. He says here, "From the organizational standpoint, it seems appropriate for the concept to be applied of networks of specific centers using social actors, non-governmental organizations, and ad hoc groups organized to collaborate towards a common goal in different parts of the world. It would strengthen the perception that a global approach is indispensable to face up to human problems."
They would, in fact, be in many ways interlinked and together from a sort of system which embraces the entire globe in a variety of ways. Again, if you listen to my premium content on Rockfin, I did a capitalist conspiracy, pressure from above, pressure from below, to demand Marxism and one world government. That is what this is all about. Terrorism, social unrest, crime everywhere. Why are they letting that happen? Because they want to break your spirit. Because if they break your spirit and you demand safety over rights, that's where martial law comes in, and one world government.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So yeah, that's Pecci in his book, which the globalists love. Very famous book within economics known as The Limit to Growth. And this was the first project that the Club of Rome put together and released. And The Limits to Growth was pretty much like the first attempt at a global climate change scare. And this book, again, it's very famous in economics. And that book basically stated that, like, the trend that we're on, back in the 70s, if we were to continue on that trend, then the world's going to end and we're going to exasperate all our resources. So all the governments of the world need to come together and join forces so that we can survive. That's basically the summarization of The Limits to Growth. And it did a good job because a lot of governments actually were scared into position. And it was the first time that tactic was used.
Yeah,
now,
like peak oil. You remember that? Yeah. Peak oil. Oh, dude, we're going to run out of the oil. So, we got to raise the price of oil, which makes no sense.
Well, wasn't that too that was a huge conspiracy thing that got passed? Remember that tape that got passed around? I remember watching it as a VHS tape. Remember, it was like a lecture from this guy with like a mustache talking about peak oil.
Yeah.
Remember, but do you remember that there was one video that everybody got passed around talking about peak oil?
It was a total psyop.
Yeah, I mean they disseminated that among like our people. They,
yeah.
What you would.
Like, can you believe it? We're gonna run out of oil. There's gonna be not enough dead dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That guy looks like he's up to no good.
Russell.
And I wouldn't allow him near my children.
Yeah.
It's a weird guy.
So they quoted an essay of Bertrand Russell's known as In Praise of Idleness. And I'll explain that quote in a second. But Bertrand Russell was a aristocrat, basically globalist philosopher, one way to put it. But he was also the grandson of Lord John Russell, a prime minister of Great Britain under Queen Victoria. And he taught the science of power at the London School of Economics and Philosophy at the University of Chicago and LA.
Damn.
So, a high-ranking aristocrat academician for the globalists. And they quoted him in The Limits to Growth. And they quoted him from his essay In Praise of Idleness. And basically, as you can, hold on, let me go back. So, basically in that essay, he states that production equates to humanity producing only what they need. So he says that man should work 8 hours a day and only produce that which we need, nothing more, nothing less. But that if we were to create a machine that can produce twice as much of what we need at half the amount of the time, that eventually it would lead to a degradation of society.
If what happened? Because you broke up.
Okay, so I'll go back. So he says in this essay, In Praise of Idleness, that being productive as a human race means working enough to produce only what we need. So working 8 hours a day to produce that only which we need, nothing more, nothing less. But if we were to produce a machine that can produce twice as much of what we need at half the amount of the speed, this eventually would lead to idleness, which would lead to a degradation of society. And so he concludes that the average person should basically just remain working 8 hours a day and not have any more free time. Basically just remain working for the machine, for whatever is required and not have any free time, because free time in his mind and in the globalist mind equates to idleness, which would lead to a degradation of society.
So,
Which I agree to a certain extent, but the maniacalness of that philosophy basically states that we don't deserve idle time, but that they do.
hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about our friends at Fume. That's right. Cold turkey may be great on a sandwich, but there's a better way to break your bad habits. And we're not talking about some weird mind voodoo from your crazy neighbor, even though I'm not against that. I'm totally trying to learn the voodoo, try to get that going, psychic powers, my opinions. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume, and they look at the problem in a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong. So instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-winning, flavored air device that does just that. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses delicious flavors. You get it. Instead of the bad, Fume is good. It is a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow. Look at that. Bang, bang, pow. Comes with adjustable airflow and is designed with movable parts and magnets to fidget. I'm fidgeting with this thing the whole time. Giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habit, okay? It's great. I love it. It's fun. I gave this to Dana. She can't stop sucking on it. She loves to suck on it. Dana loves to suck on this Fume, okay? She's sloppy toppies for Fume, okay? That's how she's going. She loves it. It's her favorite thing. It feels great. It's wood. It looks steel. It's great. Ladies love it. Girls enjoy it, even the ones who never saw it, okay? So you got to try their new Solano Fume. It's made with a premium walnut barrel and an onyx-coated mouthpiece that has a slightly softer finish. So here's what we need to do. Right now is the best time to start your good habit with Fume. All orders for the month of January have buy one, get one course. So you stock up for the New Year's resolution. Plus, as a listener of this show, you get an extra 10% off when you use our code. Head to tryfume.com/tinfoil and use the code TINFOIL for additional 10% off. Plus, BOGO course until January 31st to help you make starting the good habit much easier. So again, that's try to start a good habit at tryfume.com/tinfoil to save 10% off your journey pack today. It is very interesting to me because you broke up. I'll jump in here real quick. So basically the idea is that if you have idle time, it will lead to what? Degradation of society, which is like, think about what they want to do with universal basic income.
That's it, man.
Right? Give you all this money. You have all the money you need. Now what do you do with your life?
Idle hands.
Idle hands. And now you just got this complete and utter destruction. And you look at all these countries where they've got socialism going and everyone's getting universal basic income. Nobody has any drive to do anything. They're totally right. It's crazy.
Yeah, Bertrand Russell is one of those dudes that I feel lives like in the middle, in the duality. Like he was for the globalists, but he also spoke a lot of gems as well. And I think he was just overall an existentialist, because what he's saying is true. Like as you just explained, idleness and not having that inspiration to be better and create better things for this world will lead to degradation. But I think what he was actually saying and what the globalists took out of his essay was that the average person doesn't deserve idleness, that we don't deserve heaven on earth. Like we only deserve to just work, to produce,
Yeah, I mean, we are the working class, right? That's what we are the cattle. That's how they see it.
Yeah, man. And so he also wrote a very important book for the globalists known as Impact of Science on Society. And in that book, again, he reiterates that whole idea as you can see in the quote on the screen. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically he says here that, every man should be useful to the community and not to himself, and that his free time should be given to the community. And again, that sounds cool. It sounds good, but what is the community? The community is the system. That's what they were really referring to. They don't mean, the happy book club community or the gardening community. No, they mean the motherfucking system, and that all of our free time should be given to the community, the system, and that we should not pursue any artistic endeavors or any individual artistic endeavors outside of the system with our free time. And that book, though, Impact of Science on Society, is very important to understanding the early globalist philosophy, and I'm going to get back to it later in this presentation. But churning from the Club of Rome and what they did with the first climate scare, we are now going to cover the Tavistock Institute. And the Tavistock Institute originally started as a healthcare institute that later transformed into a mental healthcare institute. And they got, hands in all kinds of pockets, and they're friends with all kinds of, nefarious characters now all around the world. But originally during the 40s, again, they started off as like a mental health care facility, and they were given a grant by the Rockefeller Foundation initially. But the Tavistock Institute later decided to become the first ever global psychological movement, or the first organization of global psychologists. So the Club of Rome was kind of like the first global organization of various technocrats, businessmen mixing with academicians, corporatocracy. The Tavistock Institute was the first organization consisting of global psychologists. And it was started by three men, Eric Treist, Wilfred Bion, and Jock Sutherland. And they all had the same idea, the same agenda, which was to create a nexus of psychologists all around the world who would move forward and process their patients and their work in a similar manner for a similar agenda. Now, Dr. Kurt Lewin is an interesting guy, again, with globalist ties, early globalist ties. He was a German-born American who later served in World War I. And he worked for the State of University in Iowa and was the founder and director for the Research Center for Group Dynamics at MIT. Now, the Research Center for Group Dynamics is basically a fancy way of saying studying group behavior, studying population behavior, group dynamics. And so the Tavistock Institute founders were influenced by this guy. This was like their role model. And so the Tavistock Institute was founded on the idea of group dynamics, of being able to mass diagnose and mass cure and mass control illnesses, psychological ailments and stuff like that. And Dr. Kurt Lewin also worked for the OSS during World War II.
Oh, snaps.
Yeah. Specifically working, in cooperation with the government for psychological warfare to help create advertising and programming to get the Americans on the side of the war, but also to create anti-programs to infiltrate on the enemy side, to infiltrate on the enemy side. So again, the Tavistock Institute was founded on a lot of this dude's work and his philosophy. And later on, the Tavistock Institute took a huge turn when it was directed by John Rawling Rees.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he became the director, or was the director, of the Tavistock Clinic in 1933, and would later lead it to become basically what it is today. But this dude was a medical officer during World War I, And so a lot of these guys, actually, what's interesting about a lot of these early globalists is many of them actually fought in the wars, which to a certain extent is admirable a bit, just knowing that they were there and they saw some real shit. But it's because of that they came back and realized what they could do to humanity and what they could do. Because, for example, Reese, having experience in both wars, realized that there's manipulating the human mind, because he saw a lot of fucked up shit in war, and he saw a lot of guys that were shell shocked.
Yeah.
And he started to realize that there are compartments in the mind, and that you can enter these compartments and you can more or less manipulate people into certain psychological manias and what's the other word? Psychoses. So during his mid-50s, or in the mid-50s, he founded the World Federation for Mental Health.
Oh, that does not sound good at all in any way.
Exactly. So just like the Club of Rome, who fronted itself as a global organization fighting economic and climate changes, the Tavistock Institute and the World Federation for Mental Health fronted itself as a global organization of psychologists fighting mental psychoses and mental illnesses. But their definitions for what healthy is and their definitions for what community is are much different than what ours are.
Yeah, I mean, like theirs is obvious psychological trauma organization, breaking people down, MK Ultra, all that stuff. It's like, again, it just starts getting into this stuff that I've been talking on lately, especially on my premium content, is spiritual magic and mind manipulation, energy, vibrations, frequency manipulation. I'm just telling you, dude, this is all dark arts manifestation shit. I'm telling you, that's it. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I always say, or I like to say that magic, science, and quantum physics really are all sisters, of the same cloth, right? It's all the same thing. It's just different processes and different ways of thinking about it. But yeah, magic and science are sisters, they're the same thing. Magic, quantum physics, and psychology, I should say. But getting back to this, man. So Rawling Reese, right, the later Tavistock Institute, Tavistock Clinic director, wrote another book that was famous and useful for the early globalists by the name of The Shaping of Psychiatry by War. And all these books that I'm mentioning are super important. I think everybody should read. And basically in this book, he concludes that war is actually useful. Very dangerous statement. But he believes that war is useful because it's a very unique experience, a very unique human experience in which resources and humans have to organize quickly, efficiently, in a way that we wouldn't do so otherwise. So it gives us a real window of opportunity to analyze humans at a fight state, at a fight or flight state, but not on the individual level, but on a massive level. And so he concluded that war is useful for that reason, that we have a unique position to study, populations and how they respond to crises. And it funnels down to the individuals, of course, also. And so after the wars, he advocated for a global psychiatry movement, a movement of psychologists around the world who all follow the same curriculum and follow the same definitions, who are able to diagnose people around the world similarly. And he also advocated for creating and organizing behavior programs, which all of these psychologists around the world would also follow. And so, in other words, centralizing psychology, centralizing psychiatry.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And so, in an essay he wrote in the 40s titled Strategic Planning for Mental Health, um, he said some pretty wild shit. I'm going to read it right here. He says, and I quote, public life, politics, and industry should be within our sphere of influence, the global psychologist. If we are to infiltrate the professional and social activities of other people, I think we must imitate the totalitarians and organize some kind of fifth column activity. It really wouldn't matter if no one ever heard of this council again, provided that the work was done. Let us all, therefore, very secretly be fifth columnists. Parliament, the press, and other publications are the most obvious ways by which our propaganda can be got across, and it needs the thought and work of every one of us to get this going.
Shit.
And so there you have it right there in that essay, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So it was his agenda and the agenda of the Tavistock leaders to create this movement of global psychologists who could utilize psychiatry, who can utilize psychologists and group dynamics to indoctrinate the world and take advantage and manipulate the vulnerability of the human mind. Because the human mind, when exposed to war, obviously activates the fight or flight state, the reptilian brain state, which can be manipulated. But that state doesn't necessarily only need to be activated by war. It can be activated by subtle subconscious programming that the body takes in as no different than war, right? So they started to realize that the brain doesn't know if war's going on or if it's just a movie going on. All it knows is that it's intaking information that's causing it to feel certain ways. And these global psychologists can take advantage of that. And very important here, he says that we should be some kind of fifth columnist, that we should do fifth column activity. Now, a fifth columnist, that's an old term for a spy. That's an old term for a spy.
That's crazy.
Whoa, fifth columnist. Now we know. Oh, you a fifth columnist.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So he's basically saying, you know, we need to infiltrate the world. We need to be spies. We need to create these programs and slowly infiltrate and indoctrinate. Getting back to Bertrand Russell's important book, Impact of Science on Society, he states in this book, which again is a globalist favorite, that the social psychologist of the future will have a number of classes of school children on whom they will try different methods of producing an unshakable conviction that snow is black, and verses set to music and repeatedly intoned will be very effective for this.
I mean, that's Taylor Swift. That is Taylor Swift. Everything now, if you study music, there's no more lyrics. There's only hooks now. Just a hook over and over and over again to a beat. And you're like, yeah, what do you think? 90% of your what do we call it? Club music, techno? What is it called? EDM now? It's all that. Just white girls on Molly, just hearing the same thing over and over again. That's all it is. I mean, that what you're saying right now is just like, it's just like, this is feminism. This is the civil rights movement. This is not gay, but queer theory. All this stuff, right? You know, it's like suddenly, it's like, so have you ever seen that like one sketch where like the guy goes to order coffee? She's like, hi. He's like, hi. She goes, how can I help you? You can get me a coffee. She goes, why are you talking like that? Why are you talking like that? Because this is how I talk. No, not like talks like this. You're just doing that voice because that's the same thing with like super queenie gay guys. You know, they're like, I just talk like that. You know, it's like, you're just playing a character. Yeah. Great example of what he's talking about is Cardi B. Have you ever heard Cardi B talk normal?
Nope.
When she's not talking super hood? She's like,
yeah.
She's like super smart, But this character, Cardi B is Larry the Cable Guy of thirst trap slut whores.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. White girls on Molly. That's the secret government project name right there.
I guarantee you there's some psychological programming shit going on when you're on Molly. Your mind is open to programming.
Yeah, dude. That sounds like a secret.
Can't enjoy
government.
anything now. I can't enjoy anything now.
Yeah.
Can't enjoy
Sorry,
anything.
buddy. Sorry, just find the Lord.
Just the Lord.
Yeah. Buddha said it, man. You know, desire is the root of all suffering. Can't enjoy shit. Welcome to the Archonic Matrix, everybody. Everything's a motherfucking psyop. Trust nobody. But yeah, man. Just wild, you know, and this whole thing about Bertrand Russell saying that we're going to produce a generation of children who are going to think that snow is black. Of course, he's using that as a hardcore metaphor, but as you just listed, there's a lot of things in today's world that are reversed. Fucking reverse, just straight up reverse. And even in my time as a kid, let alone your guys' times, like we would have never thought that this kind of shit would be possible. And yet here we are being told by this younger generation, like, no, this shit is actually this. And it's like, what the fuck do you mean? And you guys know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't need to get too deep on it.
No, but like, I love everybody. I love everybody. Everybody's love and everybody's God. But when you see who is sitting at these drag queen story hours, it's always white women holding their babies going, oh God, I'm so open-minded. I'm all into inclusion. And it's just like, you just fall for this. I'm sure it's a litany of, I'm sure if you study birth control, it's probably got some MK Ultra shit into it. Emotionally.
I haven't had a period in 4 years.
That's horrible. That's
and
bad.
all I care about is global warming and trans rights.
Dude, it's wild. That's literally everything we're seeing right now is literally all of this globalist stuff like unfolding.
Yeah.
I know the answer is no, but you didn't watch the Golden Globes, right?
No.
You should have seen. It was all LGBTQ
Of
giving
course.
out. We need more trans movies. They're still in danger, and everyone's just loving it, dude. And you're just like, Sam's so right.
I was listening to somebody talk about like what happened to Joe Coy that night and how he's now never going to be allowed into the club ever.
What do
That
you
was
mean?
an attempt by his people to get him into the club.
But it's not his fault. He failed.
It's totally his
I
fault.
mean, it is
he's
fault,
failed
but
for taking the gig and trying to take a shot at getting into the club. Like Ali Wong is now in the club. She's won a Golden Globe. She's won an Emmy. She's in the club. He wanted to get in the club, and now he bombed, which I don't even care. He bombs. Now he'll never be in the club. That's like, nope, door closed.
Shouldn't have gone after Taylor Swift, dude. Can't do it.
But listen.
Coming the queen, you best not miss.
But then you go, do you want to be in those fucking clubs where they're so full of shit? They're like, we need diversity. We need trans right. After I get mine, then after all the rich kids are allowed at the table to sit at the Emmys and enjoy the Emmys or got a seat in the row, after they get theirs, then we want diversity. So if you study how Comedy Central, great example, right? When they started getting really woke, at the real height, all the top, it was all white people. But at the lowest levels, diversity like a motherfucker, right? Oh my God, look, we have this black gay man in a wheelchair on Premium Blend. Isn't that, look how, oh my God. Because they don't give a shit about that. They only care about what's up here. And that's why everyone freaked out when they were like, we got to get rid of white people at the Oscars. Everyone's like, well, yeah, after I get mine, give me my ticket, and then you can totally.
Yeah.
And this is why, this is it. What we're seeing right now when you're talking about the Golden Globes and trans, and because it's not even about, it's anti-business right now. And it's just about the circle jerk of these rich kids just cashing checks and acting like they care about the community. Why pushing out what Esoteric Eddie's talking about, which is just straight up Committee of 300, a Club of Rome psyops.
Yeah, man. Operation White Girls on Molly.
Operation White Girls on Molly, dog. Let's talk about it.
I'm in on that operation.
Oh shit. Yeah, dude. So, yeah, like you said, we're seeing all these guys were talking about this in the early 1900s, mid 1900s, and we're seeing it unfold right now. We're seeing the results of all of their work and philosophy. And so,
So basically, real quick,
Damn.
when all that stuff
Yeah.
came out, what year was it?
so we're talking about basically from like the 20s up to the 50s.
The 1920s. And we're
Yep.
talking what? Club of Rome, Community 300, the World Council on Psychotherapy, or whatever that group was called. That weird ass shit. What was it called?
So we've covered the Club of Rome, the Tavistock Institute.
The 19th. Okay.
Oh, and the World Federation for Mental Health.
Yes, the World Federation for Mental Health. Could not sound more evil.
This might be going forward. Was that they used in the 1920s and 1950s? Was that used again during NWA?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Like they perfected it. Like they were working it out, and then when they hit the fucking NWA, the 90s, the gangster rap,
100%,
it was like
100%.
easy for them to be like, look.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're still perfecting it. You know what I mean? They're still dialing it in and seeing what works, what doesn't work, and they've perfected it pretty damn good at this point. But you know, there's motherfuckers like us who are not falling for it, so they got some more work to do. So yeah, transitioning from that, right? Just to recap, the modern globalist movement was influenced by the Club of Rome, right? Who were the first technocratic global organization fronting as a climate change, economic change organization. And then we also had the Tavistock Institute and World Federation for Mental Health, which was the first global organization consisting of psychologists who fronted themselves as mental health advocates who were just changing behavior programs and infiltrating new behavior programs and such and so forth, right? And then we have guys like Bertrand Russell, who were academicians who were also influencing a lot of this with his philosophy on indoctrinating children in the school and with music and stuff like that. And so transitioning from that, we have Mr. motherfucking Edward Bernays.
Here we go.
And yeah, I'm sure you guys have covered him probably many times. Interesting guy. He's known as the father of advertising. And he was the nephew of Sigmund Freud, another really influential psychologist. And Edward Bernays was a prolific writer. He had an early career in writing reviews way before Yelp and all of that. You know, believe it or not, reviews were golden in magazines and newspapers. So if your company could get a review in a newspaper or magazine, you know, it was a good thing. And so he had a career writing reviews for companies and organizations. And he started his own review company known as the Medical Review of Reviews Sociological Fund Committee.
So he was like the Yelp of the 1930s.
Yeah. Yeah. So he started off by writing reviews for like grocery stores and then went to like medical companies, more serious business. And then later he became funded by the Rockefellers and Vanderbilts, a lot of these aristocrats, to write reviews for their businesses. And so now he was like a top reviewer, you know, like people liked his reviews. His reviews meant a lot, you know, coming from his company. He built value. His company, he was able to build a valuable company whose reviews meant a lot within the industry. And so because of that, he started to meet a lot of these aristocrats and get into their circles. And once World War I hit, he was employed by the government to be a part of the CPI, the Committee on Public Information. And basically, because he was good at writing reviews and being influential and saying, you should try this product, you know, he was really good at influencing people through writing. He was employed by the government to create slogans and advertising programs and propaganda, again, to influence the people to be on the side of the war. And he wrote a book titled Propaganda. Again, a very, very crucial book we should all read. And in that book, he says, and I quote here, what could be done for a nation at war could be done for organizations and people in a nation at peace. And basically what he says in this book is that he learned during World War I and his work with the CPI that this technique and the skill of being able to influence people's decisions and influence, their choices is not only useful for war, but again, is useful just for everyday life. And so after the war, he was again employed by a lot of companies to create propaganda and advertising to influence people to buy their products.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's actually the sole creator of certain social changes that we see today that we think are normal that actually weren't normal not that long ago. And I have a list here of just a few of them. For example, it was Edward Bernays directly who convinced American men to wear wristwatches. Matter of fact, wristwatches, there was a time when men wearing wristwatches was not normal. It was actually seen as feminine. Back in the day, men used to only wear pocket watches. I remember my grandpa had one. Actually, my dad still has it. Wristwatches. Edward Bernays single-handedly convinced men through propaganda campaigns and advertising that wearing wristwatches was masculine. It used to be only women that wore them. And he was hired to do this by the wristwatch industry because they realized if they could get men to wear wristwatches, their profits would now fucking double, if not triple. And the same was true with smoking in public. He single-handedly was hired to make smoking in public for women acceptable because, again, this would open up the market to the other half of the population, doubling profits, tripling profits, whatever. And he also single-handedly made bacon and eggs the classic American breakfast.
Oh my! It's like so crazy. That is so crazy. That like he's the reason everybody eats breakfast. And you will hear people just say, it's the most important meal of the day. You're like, no, it's not.
Nope.
No, it is.
Nope.
I heard it. I saw that.
Hook is deep.
What's that?
The hook is deep.
They got us. They got us. I remember watching this black and white like PSA that was made about two young boys who were like gonna do a race at school, and they wore cowboy hats in this race. It was so weird. And one boy ate a breakfast, the other boy didn't. And the boy who didn't eat the breakfast just ran out of gas in the race, and the other boy won. And now I remember, I go, oh, that's just propaganda. Propaganda. That's all it is.
Was the show Mad Men based somewhere around him? Is he in there at all by any chance?
Probably this whole world.
I never watched it.
You're blessed.
I think he predates that, right? Isn't he? Hold on, let me see.
But as he's looking it up, a great example of what you're talking right now is what everyone's saying is happening in hip hop with women, which is like Ice Spice. Have you seen Ice Spice? She does nothing. She's got cottage cheese thighs. Nothing against that. I have man tits. Who am I to judge? Okay. But they're talking about how like she's a giant plant. Like she was put in there.
Oh yeah.
And her whole thing is about pushing just the bottom barrel behavior.
Yep.
And now it's everywhere.
Well, dude, and you can hear her talk too. Like I saw there's this guy on YouTube who does interviews with musicians, and I'm trying to think of his name. He calls himself the Human Serviette. If you're listening at home, you know
Nardwuar.
Yeah, Nardwuar. And he did an interview with her. He did an interview with her, and there is nothing there, dude. Nothing. She has no brains at all. Whatever's in her was poured into her by whoever
And
created
you go,
her.
why her? Because she's easily manipulated, and she's just bottom barrel, dude. She's just, and you promote something like that, it goes back to what we just said about OnlyFans, and you're taking that okay looking girl, not saying she's a good looking chick, but is she $70 million a year doing porn looking chick?
No, and you can tell she's manufactured by the way. Have you seen how she used to look? I mean, she was clearly put together with spare parts, and stuck on her.
But even that is like that's like that chick is like 20th hot chick at a strip bar at any moment.
That chick right there.
Oh, yeah.
She's the one I don't understand. She's got a kid. She has
She's
no
got
talent.
big chi-chis.
She does.
And they
Who is
just
that?
put her. She's the girl who did an interview with Drake, and everyone thinks she banged Drake after
and
that.
Bobby Lee. She's got and Mark Cuban. Like these interviewers where you're like, who? Why would
But
they
the
don't want to
bottom
talk to
has
her?
fallen off. Like the weird awkwardness.
Yeah, that's old.
Yeah.
It died off. It's like they replicated it one time where this guy's like, "Are you like a girl who would like pull a gun on me, jack my shit, blah blah blah?" type of, and she's like,
Except on the comedy stage, anyway. It's still very popular there.
what?
The whole awkward, that whole kind of like, yeah.
Oh, you mean the female
yeah.
comic?
Oh
My God, it's so hard to be me. Like, yeah.
That thing, yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, she's fallen off. Like, she was in the top 10 of. Now
who
she's
can
like,
because to have a successful podcast, people have to want to watch you for hours on end, and this is just insufferable.
yeah. All right, go back to Edward Bernays. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, and he would have been. I think it seems like most of his stuff predated Mad Men. Actually, I mean, he had some things into the 50s, but yeah, I don't remember it hitting on him much. But he influenced that whole industry. So
Yeah, dude, Edward Bernays, man, and he lived to be, I think in
into
his
90
hundreds.
to 95. Yeah, he lived to 95.
Yeah,
1995.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, passed away not that long
103.
ago, and still working, dude. Like sharp motherfucking mind. But and the last thing I have on the list, which is random, but he also helped make plastic cups to be seen as more sanitary. I guess, like
Oh yeah.
back in the day, people weren't using plastic cups. They were just using glass and shit. So,
And now it's
I
the
think it got-
opposite. Yeah, and now it's the whole opposite. Plastic's the worst now. It got forever chemicals and shit.
Oh, that's
and
so
glass is what everyone wants now.
so he did those
Yeah.
Dixie cups. If you remember
Yeah.
Dixie cup, my grandma and my aunt. Did your old people in your family have Dixie cups growing up?
Yeah.
He was the Dixie cup guy. Isn't that crazy? Because those things are
Oh,
gone
yeah.
now. I mean, nobody wants to use Dixie cups. Why would you? That's so funny. He made people think they were sanitary, huh?
Yeah.
ridiculous, man. Yeah, we're just simple creatures, man. I guess
That was a huge business, Dixie cups.
Yeah, so in his book, Propaganda, he says something really crucial here that I'll quote. He says, "The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. With the printing press and the newspaper, the railroad, the telephone, telegraph, radio, and airplanes, ideas can be spread rapidly and even instantaneously over the whole of America." Yeah, basically taking everything he learned with CPI and with propaganda and all that, and realizing that they could utilize his power with the various forms of media and transport and
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yeah. 100%, dude.
Yeah. So the trend and the common thread of all of these men is that they foresaw a future that the rest of the world didn't particularly see. See, in the early 20th century, again, we were coming out of the nationalistic agricultural way of life. But a lot of these men started to realize that the world was progressing towards a more interconnected world and system. And so they started to take advantage of that and pioneer the early globalist system, and realize that, we could, if they could interconnect the countries, that they could centralize power and centralize control through all of these organizations and mechanisms.
Yeah.
All right. So transitioning from Edward Bernays and advertisement, I'm going to cover the Council on Foreign Relations and Media briefly. And so the Council on Foreign Relations is another one of these globalist organizations, and they front themselves as being a primarily political organization who meets to go over important socio-political crises and important issues.
Yes.
But they're not legal. They're not a legal entity. They're just a corporate government. They're a corporatocratic
Yeah.
organization, and they are funded by a lot of the media companies. And matter of fact, the Council on Foreign Relations goes all the way back to J.P. Morgan.
There's that guy in that fucking nose, that mustache. What are you, Yosemite Sam? Look at that thing.
Look at those eyes, man.
Look at that. Like, I've seen weird shit in my butt.
Like a doll's eyes.
Yeah.
Looks like
hell
a
yeah,
shark,
dude.
doesn't he? Look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he's got that fucking 1,000-yard stare, man. Like
Yeah.
he's just ready to kill some shit.
Like he's looking beyond you.
Man.
God.
Possessed.
So J.P. Morgan was one of, if not the first, to globalize media, and so there is a U.S. congressional record going back to 1917 covering this and how he was basically condemned, I guess, or there was an attempt. The locals attempted to condemn him for doing this, and again, there's a record of this. And in 1915. J.P. Morgan hired 12 men to go around and analyze which newspapers were the most influential. And so he bought out 25 of the most influential newspapers back in 1915 and then proceeded to push similar propaganda throughout these top 25 influential newspapers. So way before TV and all that, he was already globalizing media here in the States. And again, yeah, he was. I think he was taken to like civil court for this shit, and eventually they broke that up. But that blueprint and that process would later be copied with the Council on Foreign Relations, and as we see now, there are 6 major companies that pretty much own all of media on the entire fucking globe. And as of right now, those 6 media companies are Comcast, Disney, CBS, Viacom, News Corp, and AT&T. And actually, real quick, I don't have this in the presentation, but it is in the documentary. One of, I think, the first chairman of the Council on Foreign Relations, I think the first president, actually, one of the top-ranking pioneers of the Council on Foreign Relations, was specifically hired by J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan helped fund and start the Council on Foreign Relations, which again was basically a political front group that was and is funded and ran by the major media companies, so that they can push the similar socio-political messages around the world through their media companies. They get together, they discuss politics, they discuss what politics and policies they want to see push onto the people, and then they put it out through their various media platforms.
Damn, dude.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so going from that, we're going to cover a man by the name of Carroll Quigley, who was a very important player.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Bill Clinton mentioned a man by the name of Carroll Quigley in his 1992 presidential acceptance speech. He said, "As a teenager, I heard John Kennedy's summons to citizenship. And then as a student at Georgetown, I heard that call clarified by a professor named Carroll Quigley. Must be a pretty important guy if he's fucking mentioning him at his presidential acceptance speech." And so Kennedy studied under Quigley during his college days at Georgetown. Carroll Quigley taught at Harvard, Princeton, and Georgetown University. And he was a consultant to the U.S. Department of Defense, the Navy, the Smithsonian Institute, and the House Select Committee on Astronautics and Space Exploration. Basically, another one of these high-ranking academicians working for the globalist and interconnecting these various organizations so that everything on this globe, every institution can eventually follow the agenda of those at the top.
Unbelievable.
And he wrote another very crucial book that now this one, if there's any book that we should read, it's this one. I think
totally agree.
Yeah,
You read it,
I
Sam?
think this book
I've read
should
10
be.
pages of it.
I mean, shit, it's 1,100 pages, so I mean, I don't knock you for not being able to finish
But
it.
dude, you read the first 10 pages, you're like, oh my God, it's all happening. 10 pages in.
So what? I mean, it
all
was
you
written in
need.
1966. How did what is it? Is it predictions? Is
Everything.
It just
How they
everything?
manipulate us, how they get us in the war, how's all that stuff, what their goals are, every part of it. It's insane.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think I strongly believe, man, every person should read this in high school. Every parent out there should have their child read this in high school or early college. So, yeah, he wrote this. It was published in 1966. But what makes this book fascinating is he didn't write this book to expose the elites of the world. He wrote this book to praise the elites of the world,
Whoa.
which makes it really
Yes.
fucking wide.
Yes. He's basically like, I forget who talks about this, but he talks about Kurt Metzger talks about it all the time. He's like, the only problem we have with the fucking the elites plan is that they were hiding it. He's like, you know, we should let everybody know it's a great plan. We're gonna take over, make everything better. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he says. So he claims in the book, as I have quoted here, that there does exist and has existed for a generation an international network. I know of the operations of this network because I have studied it for 20 years and was permitted for 2 years in the early 60s to examine its papers and secret records. I have no aversion to it or to most of its aims. In general, my chief difference of opinion is that it wishes to remain unknown, and I believe its role in history is significant enough to be known.
Unbelievable.
Yep. So this book is an expose of what these elite have been doing since actually the late 19th century, and he details it and tells us what they've been doing, not to condemn them, but to praise them. And he agrees and confirms that there have been internationalists, now turned globalists, who have been slowly taking over the world and infiltrating it through the various sectors of society, whether that's the psychological / medical sector, the socio-political sector, the media and entertainment sector, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. It's
So,
like they're going to dominate every moment of everything. Oh, this motherfucker.
Yeah, and so Carol Quigley, he traces it all back to Cecil Rhodes. He traces modern globalism to Cecil Rhodes. And Cecil Rhodes was a 19th century internationalist. And he's famous or infamous for exhausting and abusing the African gold mines down there in North Africa. And there was, for a time, a country named after him in Africa known as Rhodesia. And he started what is known as the Round Table Group, which is still in existence by some of its various forms. And the Round Table Group was this internationalist organization funded by him and all of the gold that he exhausted from North Africa. And he basically created an inexhaustible fund because of the gold that would be used to go around and infiltrate countries and instill their globalist agendas. But his specific globalist agenda was to expand the British Empire. And he was an outright racist. And I don't mean that, to be, liberal or, alarming, but he was just straight up a racist because he believed that the British in specific were the superior race. And it was his goal to, as he says here, form a secret society with but one object: furtherance of the British Empire and the bringing of the whole world under British rule.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it's totally crazy. And obviously, we can never normalize pedophilia. The only thing you normalize about pedophilia is putting them through wood chippers, okay?
Yeah.
That's the only part we normalize, right? But there's also something that, like Cecil Rose and all these guys, it's like they're all closeted gays. They're all like closeted gays that are like, and you just take a look at all of our politicians who are just either bisexual or closeted gay. Like that, like you guys gotta understand
What's
something.
Gavin Newsom?
What?
What's Gavin Newsom?
I mean, I think he's just a super poon hound.
Yeah, big time. Yeah.
Super poon hound. But like, if you take a look at like Hollywood, comedy, Washington, D.C., it's all these closeted gays, man. Like rap, hip hop, black Hollywood, closeted gays. Closeted gays. And they're able to manipulate them. And not that Cecil Rhodes was necessarily being manipulated, but like all these, and I don't even know if he was in the closet actually, but it's like, this is why I just hate like when Cat Williams goes off on like gays in Hollywood. It's like you just push people back into the closet and you make it so they're easily blackmailed. That's the reason they use P. Diddy is because he was a closeted gay and he would do their work if they just fed him a stream of man ass. That's exactly what happened. Like, and it's just like the way it is. And this is what you get. These destructive closeted gays. I don't care about the gays. It's the closeted gays that are the ones. So that's my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, dude. I just go off.
No, that's hilarious. It's a hilarious take, and it is true, man. It's like it's ridiculous how much of all this corruption and everything just centers around people who can't just release what's inside of them, and so have to take it out on the rest of the world. It's like, bro, just smoke a joint, relax. God damn. But getting back to Carol Quigley, he says in his book, and I quote here, that the powers of financial capitalism have another far-reaching aim, which is to create a world system of financial control in private hands that will be able to dominate the political system of each country and the economy of the world as a whole, so on and so forth. So again, this is coming from a guy who was in the system, who was able to study them for 20 years and given permission to look at their secret papers, and wrote a book praising them. This ain't no, conspiracy theorists or whatever they want to call it. This is a straight up globalist academician elitist telling us this. Yeah, man. So transitioning from that, I'm going to briefly speak on Zbigniew Brzezinski. Now, this dude was just in the background for many, many years, many decades, but he was an integral player in the globalist philosophy. And he was a counselor to President Lyndon B. Johnson, counselor to President Jimmy Carter as the national security advisor, and was a major organizer of the Trilateral Commission, another one of these globalist front groups, pretending to be concerned with socio-political issues, and was a member of the Bilderberg Group and, of course, Council on Foreign Relations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Legion of Doom.
Yeah, dude. What was important about him was not just that he was, a part of all this, but that he started building a philosophy for the globalists having to do with technology and where it could lead. He wrote a book titled Between Two Ages back in the 70s. Between Two Ages, America's Role in the Technotronic Era. And he wrote in that book, and I quote here, that there is an increasing availability of biochemical means of human control, the increasing availability of biochemical means of human control augment the potential scope of consciously chosen direction, meaning that we could get to a point where we could not just influence people through advertising and psychology, but that we could actually infiltrate their biochemical systems to influence their decision making.
100%. They're doing that right now. That's all these pharmaceutical drugs, right? I mean, like every one of these school shooters are on multiple psychological drugs, and they're in some fucking really provocative kids program, like some really like well, I don't know, provocative's a word, but some what's it?
Gifted?
No, it's like where it's like people are they're not sure about it. What's the word I'm looking for? Where it's like I don't know, man.
What kind of program? What do you mean?
Suspicious?
Like,
Suspicious,
Controversial?
maybe controversial. That's it. Controversial kids program, like the guy who supposedly shot up Paradise. You know, he's like, it gets into this whole thing where they wake up and they don't even know what happened. Like, just turn it on. Like we had those guys, Mike Lee and Topher. Whatever Topher's last name is, I forget it at this moment, but they're like, dude, they'll send out a frequency and they'll just see who they can nab. Do some weird shit. Go shoot up a school. Who they nab? Bang, somebody goes shoots up a school because they're all on these psychological drugs.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and he states here that the technocratic age, damn it, too many T's there. The technotronic age will create the possibility of extensive chemical mind control and the feasibility of manipulating the genetic structure. Oh yeah. And so these guys are writing this again, not to us, but these books were meant to be read by the globalists, these high-ranking elitists, and to be somewhat of blueprints of what could be possible and what they could do together. So that's a big new Brzezinski, and that's the role that he played in all of this. And also in that book, he covers a little bit of brainwashing, saying that the reliance on television and hence the tendency to replace language with imagery, which is international rather than national, and to include war coverage or scenes of hunger in places as distant as, for example, India, creates a somewhat more cosmopolitan, though highly impressionistic involvement in global affairs.
Oh my God, dude. They just nailed that. His daughter's Minka, whatever her name is.
Brzezinski, yeah.
Yeah, who's banging the guy whose intern was found dead in his office. And she's like, it's our job to tell you what to think about Trump, right? I mean, that's my problem. If the kid gets in the family business, then it's open target. It's crazy.
Damn right, dude.
This whole thing is nuts.
Yeah, man. It's like, that's why I think it's important to really look at these people and their names. And this is just scratching the surface. I mean,
Yeah.
these are big players, dude. I mean, I didn't even know that about the daughter, and this, we're covering fucking history at this point. This is 100 years ago, dude, like damn near 100 years ago, some of these guys and some of these books. So like we're playing catch up right now, barely playing catch up right now with what these people have been planning and doing already.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
getting back to this. So yeah, going from there, man, a little bit of
here we
Henry
go.
Kissinger.
Here we go.
Yeah, so Henry
I love
Kissinger.
that last bullet point. That's great.
Yeah, man. Hey, R.I.P. Rest in piss, motherfucker. Yeah. So Henry Kissinger, right? We can go on about him, but real briefly, he was the United States Secretary of State and National Security Advisor for many years. Of course, a CFR board of director, Council on Foreign Relations. foreign consultant to many organizations, and was a globalist writer and influencer. Wrote a lot of essays, a lot of books, not for us, but for the globalist. And I'm going to cover some of that. And of course, a war criminal, a fucked up war criminal, and I get into that in the documentary.
How does that fat ass live to 100? 100
right?
years old, that fat ass.
Yeah, they all live old. Donald Trump's gonna live to 100. Biden, look at Biden.
No, he's barely gonna make it. I mean, like he's a dude. They have to get clones out there to get him.
We gotta think about it. Like, look how old he is running as president. He could still not run and be old.
Johnny snitches get stitches.
What do you mean he could still not run and be old? What do you mean?
Like, he could just not run and still fucking make it to 100. Like, he doesn't have to die, and like everyone's just assuming like if he dies he doesn't run. He can just be like, hey guys, I don't want to run anymore because I'm 100, and just live his life, which isn't gonna happen.
I don't think he has a choice.
No,
he doesn't. He doesn't have a choice.
Clones. It's not him.
That's
He's
not the thing.
dumb.
If he has clones, I'd feel a lot better about him being president, honestly. Because part of the reason I think he's horribly qualified is because he can barely complete a sentence, in his adult brain.
Dude, it's just all demoralization campaign.
Did you see him like visiting those small businesses,
He's
just
like,
waddling in there?
Hi, Joe Biden. I work for Senate.
And he's still creepy with women, dude. You would think that would be the number one thing. Like, dude, don't
Johnny,
pinch women. Don't.
Okay, players never stop playing.
Can't stop that.
Yeah.
Players never
Even the
stop
clones.
playing.
They even got into
Even
the clones.
The clones grabbing ass and shit.
You think there's one clone that's like he's not into it, but he's like got to do it. just to
Clone's
keep
gonna
up with
clone,
appearances.
dog. Clone's gonna clone.
Jeez, bro. Yeah, somebody the other day, they told me, they're like, yeah, Joe Biden's running for president. I'm like, fuck no, he's not running for president. He's stumbling for president, bro. No, but yeah, Henry Kissinger, man. So he was obviously a huge player in this whole globalist movement, specifically the more modern era. And he wrote a book titled The Chance for a New World Order in 2009. And it was right after the fucking orchestrated 2008 crisis, which many of us felt. I was young at that time, but my parents lost their house because of that crisis. So I saw that firsthand, and a lot of people were hurt by that. And so in that book, he basically says that crises are useful and that him and his colleagues should take advantage of global crises.
Yeah.
He says here, and I quote, "This generation of leaders, globalists, has the opportunity to shape trans-Pacific relations into a design for a common destiny." Basically being able to take destruction or crises and then rebuild society afterwards into an interlinked globalist society. Yeah, and so that's coming straight out of his book, The Chance for a New World Order, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's like they don't expect anyone to read their books. That's why they put it all there.
It's like OJ. If I would have done it.
Yeah, that's the best way to karma clear because you just get it all out there.
You're like, we
Nobody
put
ever
it
sees
out there.
yeah, just like I told you guys. I mean, we warned you. You guys didn't stop us. You didn't do anything.
I read the
right?
first 10 pages.
And he wrote another book titled World Order in 2014, which touches a little more on technology. And I'm going to read some highlights here. All right. So he says, in the modern world, there is a need for a global world order. In the end, a framework for organizing the global cyber environment will be imperative. Television, computers, and smartphones compose a trifecta, offering nearly constant interaction with a screen throughout the day. These methods are intended to encourage users to consume more content, and in doing so, be exposed to more advertising. These subtle directions are in accordance with a broader trend to manage the traditional understanding of human choice. The recipient pays for it by supplying data to be exploited by persons unknown to him in ways that further shape the information being offered to him.
Wow, that piece of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that is your algorithm right there. That is every website, data, everything. Wow.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that he just died, man. He just passed away at what, like I don't know, 90 something, 80 something, you
100.
know,
Yeah, I think he was
100.
100.
Was it 100?
Yeah, I think so.
Fucking man.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
to
he-
give
Yeah,
you more
100 exactly.
content, to
Yeah, a
be
little over.
exposed
He
to more advertising.
just turned 100. He had this
Yeah,
great
he-
interview with Ted Koppel right before he died that we talked on Broken Sim about a little bit, where Ted Koppel kind of pressed him on Cambodia, you know,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Nobody thinks this. Who is thinking this? Nobody thinks I'm war criminal." Like, he was real, but you could tell he
Yeah,
was
I'm
pissed.
sure it's like Hillary Clinton. Do you think anyone tells her tweets just get
You
annihilated?
could tell you never.
Nobody tells her
Never
that.
exposed to
She's
that.
like, tweet this. We must stop Donald Trump. Election interference. It's going to destroy democracy. Everyone's like, oh, great tweet. They put up there, slammed. Everyone's like, they love it. They love it. Like 5,000 retweets. They didn't tell her it was like a billion, like, go fuck yourself, you war criminal.
That's why you got to respect Trump doing his own tweeting, dude. He's out there. He's on the front lines.
Bro, he's killing it on Instagram.
I mean, he goes
Killing it on
hard, man.
Instagram, dude. I
Truth
showed
Social. Sorry.
Yeah, I showed Sam the one of Trump's posts about him making fun of Biden, how it's a old people's home,
Yeah.
and I was like, I could not believe it was on his personal
Yeah.
page. I'm like,
Yeah,
whoa.
it's nuts.
Funny, dude.
Damn right, dude. Yeah, man. So fucking Kissinger, dude, he died 100 years old, and so he's already lived a life of this. So again, we're just playing catch up. You know what I mean? Like, this man has been doing this for fucking half a century. And so we got a lot to move up against. We've got a lot to learn and a lot to do.
Yeah, for sure.
But going from there, we got this turtle-looking motherfucker,
Yeah.
Klaus Schwab.
Look at him. Just
Yeah.
Now he's just such a fatty.
Yeah, dude. So Klaus Schwab, as you can see here, there's a young Klaus Schwab in the middle, and then to the left of him is you know,
Who do you think told Klaus Schwab it's time to shave your head? It's time. It's time to shave your head.
question.
He's dead now, that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That guy died a long time.
That guy has no head.
Hey,
now.
man, Klaus, shave the head. It looks like shit.
I hope you enjoyed having a head.
Yeah, bro. So Klaus Schwab. So Klaus Schwab, again, a young picture there. He met Kissinger back in the 60s during his time at Harvard. And Kissinger initiated him into the International Seminar, which was a CIA think tank backed by the CIA to groom globalists and find these globalist geniuses. And interesting fact about Schwab, he has Nazi ties through his father. His father was actually a Nazi, and his father helped run some Nazi bombing programs, creating bombs and stuff. And Klaus Schwab followed in his father's footsteps. And he was the director for a merged company known as Sulzer AG, who were caught creating bombs down in Africa. And I think they got into some trouble for that. But yeah, his company that he was directing was making bombs over there in Africa, like thermonuclear bombs or some shit that was like deemed like war crime. Like it was like illegal across all the fucking United Nations or whatever. But obviously that didn't stop them. And so Klaus Schwab, a lot of us see him as just a new guy that came out of nowhere, you know, because of the pandemic, right? I mean, prior to the pandemic, I never heard this dude's name. I was like, who the fuck is this schlub that keeps showing up on TV and telling me what I should be doing, you know? And, but yeah, his influence and his admiration for globalism goes all the way back to his young days in the 60s. He's not a nobody. He's been among these men for many decades, and primarily was influenced and put on by Kissinger.
His dad has a freaking part of Antarctica named after him.
Really?
New Schwabenland, yeah.
Oh, fuck. Not good, man.
Where's
Not
Old
good.
Schwabenland? That's what I don't know.
Right next to New Mexico.
Jeez, bro. Yeah, like these people, man, they've been around. They've been around. And so he started the World Economic Forum in 1971 back in the day, but it wasn't the World Economic Forum we see today. I mean, today it's a monster. I mean, it's damn near taking over the whole socio-geopolitical industry and platform. And interestingly, at their third ever meeting, he had none other than Aurelio Pecci, remember, founder of the Club of Rome, as its keynote speaker. So at that time, Pecci was an elder to Schwab, the young Schwab. And so Schwab was looking up to guys like this, looking up to the Club of Rome, looking up to Bertrand Russell and all these early internationalists, early globalists. And so it's no wonder Schwab is the way he is. And it's no wonder the World Economic Forum is the way that it is, because it's coming off of this entire century before it of internationalists and early globalists who have been pushing for this agenda of centralizing power and centralizing all aspects of the corporatocratic industries so that they can walk in step and in sync for the end goal, which is total world domination. Of course, all of that culminated into his, nefarious philosophy of the Great Reset. Right? He didn't come up with that idea. That idea was born with Kissinger, who believed that the globalists could take advantage of crises to rebuild the world. That idea came from Kissinger, from his role model, his teacher. The Great Reset follows the same philosophy. We can destroy the world, we can kill half of the population, and then we can reset it and we can redo it however we want to do it. That's their philosophy. And so we got to Klaus Schwab not just because of the pandemic. The pandemic wasn't put together just in a couple of years, in 1 year or whatever. The pandemic, scandemic, all of that was culminated from the previous 100 years of these men putting together this philosophy, and it's still unfolding. And that, my friends, is my presentation on the Committee of 300.
I love it, dude. Nice. That was fire. It's so crazy because the first beginning of the show is Wi-Fi's crazy, and then it just settles. And it just starts cooking with gas.
Yeah.
Right? It's like they gave up. They're like, okay, fuck it. Just let them go.
They thought we were going to give up.
They thought we were going to quit.
Fuck no, not today.
And we would never quit.
Damn right.
All right, brother. One more time. Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody for listening. And again, if you want to watch the documentary, it's on my channel under the Committee of 300. You can find me on Instagram at Esoteric Eddie, everything else at esotericeddie.com. Thanks again, homies. It's always a fucking great time to kick it with you guys. And I'm in SoCal, so shit, let's link up. Let's do something cool.
Let's go, bro. Let's go. Come and hang out anytime I'm in the area. Or come up here and hang out.
Friday, come to the revival.
Come to the revival.
It's a good show,
in San Diego, but yeah. All right, Esoteric Eddie. Guys, enjoy the we got for you breakdown of the episode, what we talked about. Go to the website, check out SamTripoli's website.
Actually, real quick,
yeah.
If I could also say, apart from content, you guys know I'm always working on content and information, but I've actually started putting together these healing ceremonies with a team that I've kind of met over the course of last year. And so follow me if you want to be a part of the healing ceremonies, a lot of breath work, psychedelic medicine work. And this is kind of on the low right now, but I am acquiring a piece of land that one of my business associates has given to me for free out.
Whoa.
Yeah. Out here in California. I won't say where, but there is a compound and commune in the mix. So it looks like I am going to go out like Bill Cooper eventually and get fucking shot down.
Congrats.
But before then, I'm working on a lot of this stuff too, taking all of this and bringing to a whole new level and actually creating healing communities and now a possible compound/community. So look out for that.
Next thing we'll have Esoteric Eddie going, and now the ceremonial, I make love to your wife.
Consensually, of course.
Consensually, as you walk. Dude, great episode. Great episode. Enjoy this. Go to SamTripoli.com. Check out all the dates again. We got some great dates. We got Batavia coming up. We got Bakersfield, The Well, Huntington Beach, and the live taping of the stand-up special Quiet on March 3rd. I'm changing that. Enjoy this discussion. All right, guys, let's break it down. Fun episode. Again, sorry about the internet. We tried, broke up, and then at the end, we got into a nice stride. I thought it was super interesting. I thought the presentation was great as he took us through basically propaganda to New World Order. Thoughts?
Nothing better than presentation. I felt like I was in high school, which I never went to. It was great. It was great. I learned a thing or two.
Presentation was great.
Yeah.
Mexicans appreciate Mexican presentations.
Yeah, Eddie.
Las Porcentages.
Eduardo came in hot.
Yeah, Eduardo came in hot. Johnny, what were your thoughts?
I'm a big fan of Eddie. We got to get him in studio next time, right? He says he's
we got to get him in studio to work on some plumbing and to talk about the New World Order.
Yeah, really. It's funny. I thought we were gonna have a problem the whole episode because I was thinking.
But isn't that crazy how it just normalized?
Yeah, and the New World Order thing it's the most. I think it's one of the great entry points to kind of this whole conspiracy mindset because it's obvious. You know what I mean? When you think about it for more than a few seconds, that there's clearly a malignant hand kind of orchestrating affairs at the highest level. If you're listening at home and you want to kind of get somebody turned on to this, I would recommend this episode as an entry point because it's
super. I mean, Johnny did a great job of cleaning up some of it.
Undeniable.
It's really hard, but thank you, Johnny. Thank you so much.
It's not that hard.
But
thank you though.
It's just like when you look at what they were saying in the 1930s that they wanted to happen, and it's like it reminds me of this guy. Played, I forget who it was, this radio host, and he talked about if I was Satan and wanted to destroy America, how would I do it, right? And he basically goes step for step how we do it, and it's basically step for step what those guys were talking about, how they're going to subvert America. Yeah. If I was Satan, how would I destroy America?
And then it ends with him saying like getting you not to believe he exists or something.
Yeah. And then they're like, I would push out drugs and sex. I would raise up. I would destroy them, the family unit, which they've done.
Do you think these guys are like turning in their graves, like that they can't see what they, in their eyes, accomplished their success?
No,
in a
they
weird
don't
kind
care.
Of way?
It's not even about that.
They're turning in their digital their digital graves because I think they've all uploaded their brains to waiting for resurrection. The ones that could have any.
Yep, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's for sure some of that going on. I keep waiting for that guy what's his name? Brian Johnson on YouTube. Is that the guy's name? Who's trying to fight aging.
Yeah, the guy
that weird guy. Creepy guy.
Yeah, I keep waiting to hear of him attempting to upload his mind to
Would you ever
computer.
Would you ever take your young blood, Sam?
No.
Like if you had a son, you wouldn't be like, hey, let me get
or a
some.
daughter.
No, dude,
daughter's
wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Wrap
when
it up.
Daddy goes out, Daddy goes out.
What if it could cure like a disease, getting a blood transfusion from a family member?
I'm not
you
taking my kid's blood, you retards.
If it could save your life,
they can make more.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna live forever.
I'm saying not if it wasn't age, like if it was just some kind of disease,
like
that
a
needed
little
transfusion.
blood.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna adrenochrome that thing, you crazy.
That's not what we're talking about.
That's not what we're
There are plenty
about.
of valid reasons for a blood transfusion that comes from donated
fine.
blood.
Yeah, I do a blood transfusion.
There you have it, folks. Sam is an adrenochrome
junkie.
junkie.
Gross, Johnny. You're so gross. But I thought it was interesting. I wanted to say it was just like weird timing because he was on a roll, and I didn't want to ruin that. I didn't want to ruin that because, like, with the awkward timing of the internet going out. But, like, dude, like, Sigmund Freud's whole family was just nothing but scumbag pedophiles.
His son, have you seen his son's, like, art? It's really creepy.
Yeah, they're
Lucian Freud, yeah.
all, like you've seen, pedophile, sex offender, pedophile. They're all scumbags. The whole group is a bunch of scumbags. It's so funny.
Sorry, the grandson of Sigmund
The
Freud,
biggest story to come out of like Davos is like all the escorts are booked. You can't book an escort right now. They're all booked out.
Really?
All the holes are booked.
All the holes.
I only have anal at 5, but you gotta do it with Klaus Schwab. You guys gotta work together.
Could do some sloppy toppy, maybe.
Sloppy toppies for sure, maybe, but a lot of work. No, sorry, we're all booked
Look,
out.
I'm not going to put this on the feed, but look at this is Lucian Freud's art right here. He's very popular too, and it was just like these disgusting bodies all naked and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, dudes are in the weird shit, bro.
Weird stuff. Yeah.
Weird stuff.
Look
yeah.
at that.
If one of these guys that are like super old ask you to cuck their wives, which one would you pick?
Cuck their wives.
Yeah, where you got to watch them. You were asking about watching the
Jeff
threesome.
Bezos' wife.
Jeff Bezos?
Maybe.
Oh yeah, she's nice.
Maybe. Johnny, I'd make you do Kurt Warner's wife.
Bill Gates' wife's out the question.
She's not
no.
bad. She keeps it tight.
Yeah, she's not bad.
No. Jeff Bezos'
I'm
ex.
talking about
I would
Kurt
just.
Warner's. Oh yeah.
I'd eat the peanuts out of her butt. She's so
Oh
rich.
God.
Was that too much?
Try to get her pregnant, dude. Don't eat her butt.
I don't want to get, dude. You don't want to get super rich
then-
chick
no,
pregnant.
and
Yeah,
then the
you
worst
get,
part.
then you're in on the money chain, dude.
No, dude. Then they could ask you for a butt ton of child support.
No,
you
no,
said-
no, it goes the other way, dude. Didn't
Oh,
you try to
really?
get married and stuff? Yeah.
And you ruined it when you said peanuts, because like
Yeah,
I'm
that
sorry,
guy's-
guys.
the
Was that
body-
too much for
the
you?
body doesn't digest peanuts, so you will be getting some peanuts if you get
Okay.
enough ass
All right.
eating.
All right. All
He's an
right.
animal.
He's an animal.
I am an animal. So here's my scandal. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, I was interested. Esoteric Eddie has had some shows blow up on this episode. Like way back day, getting 140,000 listens.
really?
Stuff like that. People love him. We just got him. I'm sure I'm getting yelled at because I didn't talk. I talked so much at the beginning, but it's like as long as we can edit it right together, it should be good. But it's crazy. It's great, dude. There is dark arts involved with everything.
Do you think there's a new like community
Of what?
like being built, like a new one?
Yeah, I'm
Good.
sure they're already building what will replace Klaus Schwab's World Economic Forum. Something else will come out.
Yeah, because it's burned out. Everyone's already knows about it. Like,
Yeah.
dude, we need
Yeah.
we need a new one. We can't let them know this time.
Well, and you hear people who say that those are even just the surface level
Yeah,
organizations.
100%. It's all ancient banker families. That's what it is. That's all of it.
Which was it you who retweeted that thing from the World Economic Forum of that like native Asian, like some kind of face paint? What was that? That was just the craziest thing.
They're all rich kids. They're like, we are so open-minded.
Yeah.
We even had a witch doctor here. That's how open-minded we are. Guys, if you go to SamTripoli.com, you can see all my videos of all my shows. If you go down a little bit, you get the events. We got shows coming up. I'm going to be in Batavia. Then I'll be in Bakersfield with Brian Callen if it happens. Huntington Beach if it happens. And then my live taping is March 3rd. I have more dates coming. I just haven't put up because I'm lazy, okay? You could still help out Chaos Twins. Everyone's getting their comic books. They're fucking amazing.
I touched the first one. I finally touched one.
I haven't gotten mine yet.
Yeah.
It's so gorgeous, right?
Someone had one at the at Pittsburgher, and he got it signed. It felt nice. It's thick. It's not no cheap
Looks
shit.
good,
Yeah,
right?
it looks really good. Like it
I
really
haven't
does.
gotten- I really
Yeah.
want mine.
I'll
Do
sign it
you have
for
to
you.
enter do I have to enter some information or something? Because I have it. I just put the money in. Am I supposed to come back and do
I don't
something?
know. They're supposed to hit you up so you can get your
Oh, they are?
address.
I
Yeah,
didn't-
he's sending more out. I'm going to talk to
I
him
didn't do any
today.
of that.
Go down. Dude, a lot of stuff's going on. Check out, go up. Guys, I'm putting out so much content. I'm putting out, dude, these deep conspiracy rewinds are insane. Zero, when I do, it's great. And Conspiracy Social Club with Brian Callen and mostly now with Dylan Wren whenever we can. It's a great conversation. It's a different conversation, but I love it. Cash Daddies is great too. Howie house flooded, so he hasn't had internet, so we'll do the best we can. Go check out tinfoil@tshirts.com. Let's see if he put up any of the new shirts we had. Any of the new shirts? Nope.
The hats. We still got
We
them
got
hats. Go
we
get
got
them hats.
Yahweh or the
Yahweh
highway.
the highway.
Go down. Do we have any of the new hats? Any of the new shirts? Go down one more. Yeah. There we go. Nothing. That's it.
Yeah,
Go to
that's
page one. We have
Nothing.
nothing.
No
None of the new
news.
shirts. Okay. What else do we got, guys? Go check that out. Check out if you can, guys, check out our affiliates because they're all for you. They're there to help you. Buy gold and silver. I'm buying chunks every month. Okay? I'm getting ready for the financial collapse.
It's coming. It's coming.
It is a coming.
Solar flare.
Solar flare. Harley Rays, crystals and candles. Get weird. Buy them. Swarm 15, get you 15% off. AquaCure hydrogen brown gas. That's a great way to stay young, look young, feel good. Chemical-free body. Chemical-free body, 5% off with promo code tinfoil. I use them every day. I took some today.
Like
in
seven.
between.
Like 7 pills.
Yep. And then I am working out every day. I feel the muscles coming. Thanks to Joel Staley and his fitness program. I got to get back to fasting. That is my goal. Check out all the telegrams for Tinfoil Hat. I've been getting some complaints about Telegram Nazis. I'm going to deal with that because the numbers are way down on Telegram. Great conversation. And then also all my free content is right there. Check it out. SamTripoli.com.
You've been getting those complaints too, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting. I was told I was the only.
Yeah, I'm gonna go deal with it. Anything else, guys?
Hit the like button and check out We Don't Smoke the Same. We had George Perez stories on in the latest episode, and we got a little gangster over there.
Right on. Broken Sam's been great lately. By the way, we're back on it.
I've been
going hard. Oh, Sam's been crushing so hard.
Sam's got stories, road stories, so go listen.
He was way backed up with stuff. Yeah, we had so much stuff to cover in the
I have
first
an
episode
announcement to make.
Okay.
In the interim ruling, the International Criminal Court has found Israel guilty, meaning South Africa's case accusing Israel of committing genocide has been found to be legitimate.
Is that real?
It's Lee Camp, who's like a serious journalist.
So yeah, but it'll get they don't have any teeth because if they try to enforce anything.
Breaking news: the ICJ World Court will find Israel guilty. This is the indictment.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Wow.
Damn, guys. All right, enjoy these sneak previews.
Oh wait, we got to talk about the live show too, right? Or we're gonna do that in the intro.
And no, we'll do it at the beginning.
Okay.
In the beginning of the show. All right. You got a little bit of the inside baseball there behind the curtain. All right, guys, enjoy the highlights.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
Fauci admits that masks don't work for the public at large, but still absurdly claims masks work on an individual basis, more subterfuge. Immediately after, a variety of outlets all piled on, lending their assessment in their headline writing. The New York Post roasted Fauci by saying that he was a fraud and a liar after being confronted with damning studies on masks. Newsweek said Fauci COVID mask admission sparks furious backlash. The Independent, Dr. Fauci refutes study claiming that masks don't work as COVID concerns rise. The Daily Mail getting in on the action, more subterfuge from Fauci, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, Fox News and Newsmax then joined in.
Some do not want to let go of the panic surrounding COVID-19, including the mad scientist himself, who was on CNN over the weekend and really pushing back against so much science.
Just like the seasonal flu, Scarf Lady and Tony the Terrible are back and circulating on air.
This exchange that Anthony Fauci had with Michael Smerconish on CNN, literally, I couldn't believe it. I say sometimes on CNN, I'm glad they brought it up, but the way that they let him get away with this.
Follow the science or follow this loser? Dr. Fauci getting confronted with a damning study on masks.
There is a perception out there by many, how many I don't know, that they don't work.
Was Smerconish actually also wearing a mask?
The flames were still being fanned Thursday by Post columnist Miranda Devine, who wrote, masks don't work against COVID-19. Dr. Fauci should use one to gag himself. The Cochrane reports physical interventions to interrupt or reduce the spread of respiratory viruses was published earlier this year. An aggregate analysis of scientific studies on the efficacy of masks. Dr. Lena Wen in the Washington Post has called Cochrane a highly reputable source. Its systemic reviews are considered the gold standard of medical analysis. So I thought I would go to the source, the first author of the Cochrane study, and hear his side of the controversy. Dr. Tom Jefferson joins me now. He's an epidemiologist and senior associate tutor at the University of Oxford. Okay, Doctor, thank you for being here. Some quick context. The 2023 publication is actually the 5th update. You would refer to yourself, I think, as the first author. Cochrane is peer-reviewed, and this is an assessment of research by others, meaning, in this case, 78 randomized control trials, not original research. All true?
I have to correct you, Michael. 2020 was the 4th update. The 2023 is the 5th update. Also, you're right. There are 78 trials, but those are not only about masks, and they're not on.
It makes me feel good when CNN also has trouble with Zoom. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, well, because all know Zoom sucks.
In fact, there's only 2 on COVID, or third mentioned.
Okay, I'm trying to just set the stage so that I can ask you the key question. Do masks work, in your opinion, in stopping the spread of COVID?
Well, we have got, as I said, we've got 3 SARS-CoV-2, 3 trials on SARS-CoV-2, and none of them show an effect.
That's no.
It is impossible to show that something doesn't work in this case. And science adopts a probabilistic approach, so it's a chance approach. Is it more likely than not? At the moment, there is no evidence that is the case, that they work. And which mask against which pathogen? There's hundreds of pathogens. So that's a situation. Now, earlier on, you quoted some of our assessment of some of the trials. And yes, some of the trials are poor quality because they are very, very difficult studies to carry on, to carry out. Logistically, they're very difficult. And sometimes it's very difficult to get people to comply with wearing a mask or washing hands or any of the other interventions we're looking at. So these are the limits of what we've done.
So listen, he's not happy with that at all.
So I'm hoping to bring clarity to viewers because it's very hard to
we're
follow
Americans
as lay people. It sounds to me, Dr. Jefferson, as you are saying, we don't know. And
See,
by
that's
the way,
not what he said.
when I look at the author's conclusion, and I'll put this on the screen,
he didn't say we don't know, to be clear. He said they don't work.
The author's conclusion from the most recent of these flat out says there is uncertainty about the effects of face masks.
So funny.
I don't want people to think that you're here saying they don't work. It sounds to me like you're here saying, I can't tell you if they do or they don't work, but please speak for yourself.
Listen.
You're correct. I can't tell you whether they work or don't work, but it's more likely than not that they don't work. Okay? Based on, this is not just against SARS-CoV-2, the COVID pathogens. We're looking at
just keeps trying to
interventions over 78 trials over 50 years. The whole review is over 500,000 participants in these trials. Now, the underlying problem that you've got there is that people are drunk with certainty.
Yes.
They're told that something works.
Yeah.
End of the story. That's not science. What science is about is likely or unlikely to work, or we can't find any evidence of it. So,
but when you say, but Dr. Jefferson, Dr. Jefferson, when you opine that in your opinion it's more likely than not that they don't work, that then puts you at odds, and herein lies the confusion, with the editor-in-chief. Put this on the screen. Carla Soares-Weiser, the editor-in-chief of the Cochrane Library, says, quote, many commentators have claimed that a recently updated Cochrane review shows that masks don't work, which is an inaccurate and misleading interpretation. It would be accurate to say that the review examined whether interventions to promote mask wearing help to slow the spread of respiratory viruses and that the results were inconclusive. Do you disagree with her statement?
Dr. Soares-Weiser appears to be apologizing for the misconceptions and the misquotes of third parties, which is extraordinary. If I had a pound or a dollar for every time I've been misquoted, I'd be in the Bahamas. I wouldn't be here speaking to you, sunning myself in my huge villa. Being misquoted and misunderstood, unfortunately, and being also in a political forum like this, which is not my natural habitat. I don't, this has become political. You see, the first three iterations of the review went completely unremarked. Apart from the 2020 update, or the 2023 update, they started getting attention simply because masks had become political.
Now, you seen that? They've been doing these for years before the pandemic. And he's saying only now are the liberals getting in our ass for saying masks don't work because they became this political football.
So this is a political milieu. And I can only tell you what the science is, the reliable science shows with all its limits. What I just told you.
It puts the public.
I can't make up stuff.
He just can't deal with that, dude.
Okay, and I understand that. I guess I would just say this. It puts those members of the public, I include myself, in a very awkward spot because on one hand, someone is going to hear this conversation and say, I heard the first author of the Cochrane study say that in his opinion it's more likely than not that they don't work. And then somebody else is going to say, well, yeah, but wait a minute, the editor-in-chief of that very same publication and library has a totally different interpretation. And then the left and right will seize upon which element suits their political interest. You get the final word, but it's got to be just 30 seconds.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay, it's a political milieu. It's a political football. It's got nothing to do with science, isn't it? You just described it. The Cochrane hierarchy has done other things that we will make public on our Substack Trust the Evidence. And systematically undermined both the 2020 and the 2023
he just
work.
threw that lady
all 12 of them
under the bus.
So that's my final word. Now, if your viewers are so interested in finding an answer, they should put pressure on those in power to conduct good quality trials,
never gonna
good quality studies.
But isn't that, dude, how funny was that? Him trying to get at this
garbage.
guy. Yeah, it's
that guy is garbage.
He sucks, dude.
They're like, well, you're putting us in a bad position
because we've been saying for years,
lying, and now you're calling us liars.
Dude, it was so funny.
That was so great.
Because you could tell what he expected to get from that guy was not that. He thought he's a scientist. He plays ball.
Or he thought he was going to just make him look like an idiot.
Yeah. But I don't think. I think
crazy
they were
that
scrambling.
that guy came out and threw basically the editor under the bus, saying that she doesn't know what she's talking about. And this institute has done this before, because you know what happened is this editor, whoever that was, the president, hell came raining down on her from all over the place. Fauci's people, everybody saying you're making us look stupid. So she had to it doesn't matter if it's real or not. She just has to make a statement which allows that dumbass to go out there and go, we don't know who's telling the truth. It's just plausible deniability. And they have no ethics. That guy who works at CNN, who could be like, I'm just reading a fucking teleprompter. The producers have no ethics and they hate humanity. They are brown shirts for the establishment. They're all scumbags.
It could be right off of Russian propaganda TV, dude. I mean, that whole segment was just like
100%.
Yeah. It's unreal.
All right, Johnny.
That made me laugh so hard, dude.
Fun show.
Yeah, that was the first of Fun with Stupids. Did you see that James O'Keefe is back at it?
Oh, yeah,
he had
this
an
is
encounter
great.
with Mark Cuban in a gym, like a hotel gym or something, which was just...
Oh, hey, Mark. How you doing? Oh, hi, Mark. Good, how are you? It's James O'Keefe. Very good. Will you hire Weiwu? What? Where's Mark Weiwu?
So Weiwu is this woman that's been pressuring him to be hired because of DEI for the Mavericks, the team he owns. And she's harassed him he blocked her. Mark Cuban blocked her on Twitter.
I love it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Because they've done this stuff on campuses where they'll go up to these liberals and go, do you believe in diversity? Do you think that, hey, how about in sports? And they're like, no. Only the best get on there. Because they think everything else is just opportunity. They don't think, like you went to my show the other night. There's levels to comedy. There's people who just have a natural, like Felipe, Bobby, and Bert Kreischer. Everybody there was nice. Everybody there was a legend in that lineup.
But Felipe, like his first set at a coffee shop or whatever, there was people were rolling.
He just is great. Like to think that all comedians are equal and like the ones that just thrive are the ones who get the opportunity is so dumb. And that's literally what Mark Cuban is doing with this dumb DEI stuff. Now, I will say the one thing that's very funny about Mark Cuban is he has a lot of white guys on his team. He's one of those teams that goes very white, right? That goes very white.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's crunched the numbers and found that there's actually a little edge to be gained by getting more white guys that are kind of underrated.
Like
or
or selling of tickets and stuff like that because most of your audience is white because that's who can afford the tickets.
You know he knows those numbers though, like
yeah,
for sure.
But he's like, dude, James O'Keefe is totally right.
We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hack.